Well, we just picked up a once-in-a-lifetime deal right here. This is a 1974 Suzuki GT380 two-stroke triple for $300. $300 for this thing. These typically bring 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 grand, depending on condition. One of these pipes sells for $300. So just an insane deal. I was the first one to respond. I think I saw it up within the first 4 minutes, and that's how we got this thing. But it is about 99% complete. The coils were taken off for some reason. I'm guessing it didn't have spark, but I have the coils in a box of parts. The seller stated that he actually stored this for a friend in a barn for about 5 years. It never ran, but I guess the friend died of cancer a little while back, and he gifted this bike to his friend who was storing it. So the friend didn't really want the bike, didn't know what to do with it, so he posted it on Facebook Marketplace for sale for $300. But yeah, it's a crazy good deal. He just wanted it gone. He wanted his storage space back. So he said, take good care of it, and he hopes I get it running and driving. And that's what we're gonna try to do today. I mean, it's in pretty good condition for a $300 bike. Pipes aren't rotted out at all. I mean, that is crazy. Cover is perfect. Gas tank has no dents. I haven't looked on the inside yet. We'll take a peek here in a sec. Gauges are a little faded. There's only 7,761 miles. That is completely insane. It's like a brand new bike. No rips in the seat at all. Petcock is off of it. Carbs are still on there. Spark plugs are in it. But yeah, no rot in the pipes at all. Just a little surface rust. So I guess the seller didn't know anything about it really. He doesn't know when it last ran. He knows for sure it hasn't ran in the last 5 years because that's how long he stored it for. So that's pretty much all we know. Kind of going into this one blind. But it does kick over, does have compression. It feels like, at least. Plugs are in it. So we have a little hope there. Obviously it doesn't have spark because the coils are off of it. But today's goal is going to be to try to get this one up, running and driving by the end of the video. We have a lot of work to do, so let's get going. Let's get this thing off the trailer and start digging into it. A little walk around of the bike. Tires are flat, both of them. I mean, she's pretty clean for $300. Very complete. Brake doesn't work. Has some mirrors on it yet. Back blinker broken off. Petcock off of it. Even has the little carb boots here. Those look pretty rotted though. There's the VIN right there. You can see the date stamped on there. 12/74. Yeah, this one should be pretty fun. Well, here it is. Let's start taking a closer look. So, right away we see that the coils are missing. So the old ones were included in a box of parts, and they look pretty old. All the wires are cut from them. And new ones were in there as well. So that's interesting. So I wonder if it lost spark at some point and the guy that died recently was going to restore it, or actually try to get it running, because there were carb kits in there as well for this bike, 3 of them. So I'm guessing he ordered parts up for it and never got around to building it or hearing it run. So at least we have the coils. I don't know if these are any good. They look brand new though, so we will see. Well, let's start by taking a look at the oil, see if there's anything in here. Does this thing have a dipstick? Nope. Ooh, looks pretty dry. I don't know if I can even get this down there. We might have to check the oil check bolt on the side. Yeah, I can't fit that down there. There's like a little passageway that goes down into this cover. So there's actually an oil check bolt right down there. You guys can see it. There's a crush washer on that bolt there. Let's take that out and see if anything comes out. When this bike is level, we should see oil just coming out of it. Yep, oil's coming out of it. Looks brand new. Looks like brand new oil. Well, there's definitely oil in it. Alright, we've got oil in it. Let's take a peek at the gas tank here. Hopefully this is pretty clean. Looking at the cap, I didn't think it was going to be that clean, but yeah, there's really no rust in there. There's like no rust at all. So this thing was stored without any fluid in it. But looking at the cap, I thought for sure it was going to be all rusty. That is clean. That gas tank alone would probably sell for over 300. It's a little sticky in here. All right. It's got a battery hooked up to it. Does anything turn on? No. Battery must be dead. Here is the 2-stroke oil tank. Oh, there's oil in it. Wow. That's broken. The cap. It's a twist-on cap. Should be. Let's see, is the battery hooked up? Yep, we've got one going to ground, and then one to positive going down to the cover down here. All right, this is the left side cover. Let's take that off. Alright, looking at all the wiring. A couple spare fuses, it looks like. Here's the main fuse. Let's kind of see what that looks like here. We can test that out quick. Make sure we're getting good continuity between the fuse. Yeah, everything looks good. Doesn't look like any mice got to the wiring harness at all. Get a flashlight back there. That's broken off. Yeah, everything looks pretty good. You guys see anything? Yep, there's the ground going over here as well. Right there. So let's check the fuse next. Alright, we should hear a beep. Let me touch it. Fuse is good. Look at how nice that gas tank is. Not a single dent in that gas tank. That is amazing. Wow. So we've got this plug in here. I'm guessing that's for the coils, right? Has to be. Let's see. Orange, 3 orange, 1 black and yellow, 1 white, and 1 black. 3 orange, yep. 1 black and yellow, 1 white, and 1 black. Perfect. So we have the correct coils for it. Red is connected, black and white is connected. That all looks good. The mounting bracket for the coil pack is right there with the ground going to the engine. So that's all good to go. Yeah, everything looks like it's plugged in. Nice. Over on the right hand side cover, there's a little oil window here for the 2-stroke oil to see how much you have left. And then you can take this cover off and it should expose the tank. Yep, so you can see the level right there. And that little window is pretty dirty. Oh, what do we have here? Original toolkit. No way. Look at that. Well, that's a bonus. That's probably worth $100 right there. Wow. All the original Suzuki tools. Check that out. Made in Japan with the Suzuki logo on it. Doesn't get much better than that. All right, left hand side, filters look like. All right, so yeah, I think somebody was trying to fix this thing up. So they already took the air filters out of it. I'm guessing those were all junk on it. Really clean in there. Take a peek. You can see, really clean. All the way through. Looking good. Let's go to the other side here. That pulls out. Again, that one's off. So air box look pretty clean. All right, let's check out the plugs. These were loose. NGK B8ES plug. Plugs are nice and brown. Look at that. So it was running perfect at one point. That looks really nice. Let's see if we can get the middle one out. Let's see if that's stuck in there. That one's loose too. It almost seems like the guy that stored it maybe tried to quick get it running to sell it. And then kind of gave up on it. Is my guess. Because if these bikes are in running condition, obviously they bring a lot more than $300. But I'm guessing he didn't have sparks, so that's why he gave up. That one's a little bit more black, but looks pretty decent. B8ES plug, same as the other one. Yeah, a little bit more black on that one too. But again, B8ES plug. Let's get some penetrating oil down here. This thing's been sitting for a long time. Doesn't hurt to spray it in there. Get the center cylinder sprayed. And then the last one sprayed as well. And we'll add some Marvel Mystery Oil as well, just in case those rings are stuck. each cylinder as well. Get that going. And then we'll try turning this thing over, see if it's smooth. Alright, there's plenty of lubrication in there now. Just going to slowly turn this thing over. Let's see if she's smooth here. That is really, really smooth. Doesn't take any effort to kick it over. Alright. That feels pretty good. So, I think what we're going to do is hook up a battery to it, see if anything lights up. Right now, I'm not seeing any electric start on it, but here's the kill switch, running off. We'll see if that works. And here's the key. Neutral light right there. And then you've got your low and high for the lights, on off for the lights, left and rear, turn signals, and horn. Negative. All right, here we go, key on. Oh, perfect. Neutral light, high beams are on. Oh yeah, headlights working. Let's see if, oh yeah, that's working. Cool. Low. Cool. Blinkers. They're even blinking. Holy. Tail lights working. Wow. Other blinker. Even the broken lens blinker's working. Holy cow. And the turn signal's blinking up here. These never work. Horn? Let's see. Even the horn's working. Wow. That's amazing. Every single thing's working on this bike. See if the brake is working here. Look at that. Brake light's working. Oh, well, that doesn't happen very often, so everything's working good. Let's try to hook up the coil pack and see if we get spark. There's a bunch of wires here. Labeled. These must go to these connectors here. Number 3. These all have to be rewired here, so we might spend some time on that. At least they're labeled here. So it says number 3, I'm guessing that goes to that coil. Number 2 is right here. They're all cut, so black and yellow and orange go to coil number 2. And then number 1, I guess, or these two, go here and there. So we're gonna have to look up a wiring diagram and see where they go. All right, so I just confirmed on the wiring diagram that orange and white is for cylinder number 1, this coil. Black and yellow and orange is for cylinder number 2, that coil. And then you've got your just straight black and orange for cylinder number 3. Right there. So that was all labeled correctly. So we're gonna get some connectors on here, some new wiring going. Put this in here. Get this connected to this one, because you can see the wires are too short, so we have to add wire to it. Try to keep it away from the coil. An end like that we're going to put onto the white wire, and that will be going to each side of the coil here. I want to see which side of the coil it goes to. We'll look at the wiring diagram and check that out. Alright, looks like white goes to the left side, orange goes to the right side on all of them. So orange will go here, here, and here on all the coils. This one might actually fit right there. Go right to here. Right here. That, and this one I can cut. All right, just to double check, we've got orange going to the right side of the first coil. We've got white going to the left side. We've got orange going to the right side of the second coil, black and yellow going to the left side. We've got orange going to the right side of the third coil, and we've got straight black going to the left side. So we are all good to go here. That looks perfect. This one comes through. Make sure no wires are pinching. That's all good. Gets plugged into here. Like that. That's kind of how that looks. And then you can see the ground going to the coil down there. So everything's hooked up. We can turn the jumper pack on, get the plugs in and see if we have spark on any of the cylinders. Alright, get these plugs in. We should probably actually check the boot first. See if the wire is exposed here. Yep. That looks good. You can see the wire coming through. Just want to make sure before we check for spark here that it's not the actual boot wire causing issues. Check this one. Yep, that wire is exposed too. Get that one back on. They're brand new, but you don't know because I didn't buy them, so you can see the wire exposed there, so that all looks good. Ground that one out. We don't have electric start on this machine, so we'll turn the battery on, turn the key on, and we'll check and see if we get anything here. Nothing. Uh-oh. Nothing at all. Kill switch. On the right way. Nothing. Alright. Plug number 2. Cylinder number 2. Let's check that one. Nothing. No spark at all yet. Alright, cylinder number 3. Let's see what we get. Nothing. So no spark at all on any of the cylinders. That is not good. Alright, time to check out the points. The points on this bike are actually located on the right hand side of the bike, and you can see this case piece is broken off right there and looks like it was glued back into place. I don't think that's going to affect anything though. Let's get this plate off and check out the points. See how bad those look. Hopefully they're really dirty. Alright, you can see 3 condensers, 3 sets of points. Let's just check them out though and see. They're not that dirty either. At least they don't look like it. Yeah, they don't look that bad. I wonder if we're not getting power to the points, which could definitely be the case. We're gonna first clean up these points and kind of go from there. Alright, this is some contact cleaner. That stuff dries really quick. flashlight, check that out. Oh, that looks pretty good. All right, on to the next one. That one's clean. Last one. Alright, let's see if we get spark now. Alright, let's see if we get spark now. Key on. Here we go. Nothing. Huh. What the heck? The points aren't moving at all. Check this out. What is going on here? This should be spinning and moving the points. Nothing is happening. Oh, I'm beginning to think this bike was priced at $300 for a reason here. That should be moving like that. So that should be spinning as I rotate this. We can check for spark that way. But yeah, it's not rotating with the crank at all. That is not good at all. Alright, we're gonna manually check for spark by spinning that thing over. Alright, here we go. Oh, there's spark on that one. Look at that. So coils are working on that plug. Let's see about this one. This is cylinder number 2. Look at that. That one's sparking. Let's spin this thing over a little bit. Yeah, good spark. All right, last one. Let's just see if we have spark. Cannot believe the engine's not spinning over. Here we go. Not seeing that one go. I think that plug might be fouled out. Let's try a new plug. Alright. Here we go. Let's see what we get. Yeah. That plug was fouled out. Good spark on the last one too. So we have spark. That's not the issue. It's that we're not rotating the points over when we turn the engine. Alright, so we turn the engine over. You can see it doesn't spin anything. Points aren't moving. That's why we're not getting spark when we kick it over. So in order to diagnose this, we gotta see why it's not spinning. That. So this is just free floating here. Isn't grabbing at all. So let's get the points plate off first. So there's 3 screws right here. We just want to keep in mind that this is at the last notch lined up with the case here. So we are going to line that back up if we end up fixing it right like that. So let's take this off. Ooh, that was loose on there. Somebody had this thing off. I feel like the seller, oh man, these are really loose. I feel like the seller wasn't completely honest. Look how loose that is. Oh man. So they've had this off. They knew what was going on. But I mean, we got this bike for next to nothing, so can't blame them too much. So it must be something behind that cover that's causing issues, because that's not grabbing at all. See that? Huh. Wonder if it's something stripped out behind the cover. Alright, I'm looking at the parts diagram here. Here is a little piece that's moving right here. You can see that's the same piece. If you look at the diagram, that shaft goes all the way through there and goes on to the gear there that I'm guessing goes to the crank. So there's actually a little woodruff key right there that gets locked into place on that gear. So I'm wondering if that woodruff key just sheared off and it's not spinning that gear. Because it would take a lot of force to strip out that whole gear, I would think. My bet is that that woodruff key right there is sheared off and it's just spinning inside that gear. But we won't know until we take off this cover. So let's go ahead, get everything off of here and try to take this cover off. Before we take off the side cover here and try to diagnose that problem, and before we lose our kick starting ability, let's go ahead and check compression. Just to make sure that there's compression before we go digging into stuff here. So we should have minimum 120 PSI on each cylinder. So we are going to do throttle open, give this a couple kicks and see where we're at. Alright, this is cylinder number 3 and our throttle is locked up, so we can't do throttle open. We're like 140, so that's good. I'm guessing it'd be even higher with the throttle open. Cylinder number 2. Go ahead and do quick. Be great to get 140 each cylinder here. We can't do throttle open. Exactly 140 again. Perfect. Here we go. Hopefully it's 140. Like 142 on that one. Pretty good. So all of them are about the same, sitting at like 140. We're on the right side going underneath the bike here. All right, let's see if I can show you guys where that engine drain bolt is. It's gonna be right, I don't know if you guys can see or not, right there. Kind of hard to see. Yeah, it looks like brand new oil in there. Alright, now that the oil's drained out, we can take off the footrest here. Let's see, is that 12 millimeter? Yep. So, little cap comes off. This whole thing should slide off. Now we can take that bolt out. There we go. Alright. There we go. Okay. One down here. Okay. No more bolts holding it on. Huh. Not one at all. There we go. It's coming. Ooh, something's broken. Ah, shoot. There is a plastic gear that goes on there. Look at that. That broke right off. So that was on that right there. Huh. Alright, that all looks good. Why would they use a plastic gear in there? It just broke right in half. It didn't even strip out. It's just broken right in half. They must use a plastic gear in there so that if something binds, it just fails right away and it doesn't break the whole engine, is my guess. So something must have gotten stuck here at some point and it locked up and then broke that gear right in half. Doesn't look bad in there. Bearing looks good. Feels smooth. So looking in here, there's little raised pieces. Those little pieces actually fit inside right there and lock that gear into place on that shaft. So I don't know if the gear hit something or what, but yeah, it should be locked into there. And it goes this way. So that goes into there like this. Let's see if it was rubbing or something. Oh, that wasn't on there very tight. So you've got your lock washer and then your normal washer on there. There we go. And I think we can pull off that piece right there. There's a little woodruff key right in there. So that's the part I thought failed. But looked like the gear failed before the woodruff key. I think the woodruff key probably should have failed first, because you can just easily replace a woodruff key, but oh, that's still in there. So you can see that's what rides in that gear. That little groove fits on the woodruff key, and then the little gear fits over these. So I'm guessing the gear comes as one unit on that collar. Alright, this is what that gear is supposed to look like. So we got this piece connected there. You can see the little pieces sticking out that holds that gear in place. You can see it's about to break here and here as well. So if we can get this back on here and tighten down, we might be able to at least get spark on this thing when we kick it over, just as a temporary fix until we can order one up. But that needs to be really tight on there because it's really expanding right now. So we've got our plastic welder here. We're going to try to press that down as far as possible and see if we can weld that up. I think this side needs to be clear of any metal, so we're going to come through the front, sink a bunch of staples in there, and come from the back as well and try to get that together. Why was it doing that? Nope. Alright, must have been oil. Nope. Going up in flames. Let that one dry. It sunk a little bit. For one unit again, and these will cut off flush. I'm going to put some from the front as well right through here. Alright, we took the Dremel, ground down all the little staples there. Alright, well, we'll try to install it, see what happens. Alright, put this back on here. I'll probably break right away, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, let's try to put this back on, see what happens here. Alright, lining up that notch with the groove on the stator. Looks like right there. Alright, let's kick this thing over. See if we get any spark. If it kicks over, we'll see. Let's see, we'll go slow with it. Let's see if it's turning. It's turning. Not getting any spark. Oh, there we go. Oh. Oh. It's working. No way. Look at that spark. It's actually working. As you can see, down here, points are moving up and down. Let's see if all the points gaps are okay. Yep. Alright, we have spark, we have compression, next is fuel. So these carbs all have to come out. I think we're going to zip the air box off up here. Box is now loose. Cool. And get all these boots off. That one. These look like fun carbs to clean. Let's get caught in that cable here. There, finally. I think we can bring the carbs out through here. Alright. Ooh. That's a little rough. That just disintegrated. Oh, these rubber pieces. Holy. I don't know, can the carbs be saved? Look at that one's all melted. I don't know if it sat outside or gas ate at it. Oh man, that's not good. But yeah, those slides are... Oh, that one's not locked up. That one is. So it's the middle one. I'm guessing these are just horrible. Unless he had the gas all drained from them. Oh, it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Float's still moving, that's a good sign. Nice. So we actually have the rebuild kit, so we can just toss everything that's in here. Oh, even the pin comes out. That is great. Needle even comes out. Alright. Let's see what that main jet is at. Let's see, we're running an 80 main. That's actually pretty clear. Wow, I was expecting a lot worse. See what that pilot looks like. That's gotta be clogged. Coming. There we go. Yeah, she's clogged. Let's see, this one is a 25. Here we are exactly one turnout on the air screw. That's basically the whole carb. Not too bad. We're gonna get off all these old gas lines too. Then we can separate the carbs so we can soak them. So let's see, how do we want to do this? New. Doesn't want to go. Alright, we finally got the center carb to budge here. Alright, she's coming. Alright, here are the slides, and you can see the rubbers right here just disintegrated, but these are moving up and down if you do the throttle here. Alright, we're going to get this carb off first. So now we can soak these individually in the ultrasonic cleaner. Alright, let's take a quick peek at the other carbs here. Oh, that one's not too bad. About the same as the other one. Let's see if our float is stuck here. Pushed right out. Alright, carb is out of the ultrasonic cleaner. Look how nice that cleaned up. Looks brand new. Alright, then we've got the rebuild kit here. So let's start adding some jets to it. Alright, first things first, we're going to put the seat in. Alright, and the main jet's going to go in. Your pilot, air screw, O-ring goes on first, and our spring. And this was in one turn. One turn out. Or needle in. Like that. Brand new gasket going on. Alright, just like that. Alright, all three carbs are back together. See, the slides are working perfect. Alright, those are working. Throttle is smooth. Now we have to get gas going to the carbs. Alright, here's the petcock. Let's see what that looks like here. I'm guessing it's pretty good. The carb wasn't too bad. A little rust in there. That little O-ring out. Filter screen. That looks pretty clean. I can take a look. At the inside of here. I'm guessing this is going to be pretty bad. That's actually pretty clean. We'll blow that out, but yeah, that doesn't look too bad. A little rust in here. Not too bad. And then the pump in the back here. You know what? I might just keep that together because the gas is going to rip. And we can always just use the prime on here. So we don't even need to have the pump working. And I'm going to order up a new gasket kit for it anyway. But at least if we have that sealed, it won't leak gas from there. Alright, new plugs going in. BR8ES plugs. Let's get these in. Alright, we've got a fuel filter hooked up there. This line gets hooked up right to that nipple right there. That would be the vacuum line. Alright, mix up some 40-to-1. We don't know if that oil pump is working, so just in case we'll put some premix in. Alright, moment of truth here. Will she fire up? We have good spark, good compression, And now we're getting fuel to the carbs. If we turn this to prime, we've got gas flowing. Let's see if it's leaking anywhere. We can put the choke on. That's on. All right, here we go. First start attempt in over 5 years. See what happens. All right, will that gear break the first kick? We'll find out right now. It didn't break. I'm gonna squirt some gas on the carbs, I think. All right, we put gas directly down the cylinder. Let's try again. All right, choke off. Nothing. Maybe your timing's off. All right, we adjusted the points plate. Let's see what happens now. All right, we've got the cover back off here. So I went to go check the timing and I was looking at top dead center and seeing when the spark plugs were sparking. It was sparking way at the bottom of the cylinder. So I was like, whoa, that's weird. So I looked at the timing procedure and it looks like I put this cover on without doing any timing. So check this out. There's actually an arrow right here. See that little arrow? That needs to line up with the dot right there on that gear before we put the cover on. So we have to spin this engine over and we have to line up that dot with the arrow, the pointer right there. Dot coming around. So now, if you guys see, hopefully you guys can, that dot is lined up exactly with that arrow. Now we can put the cover on. I'll show you guys the next step. There's going to be this L right here with a line. See that red line? that needs to line up with the mark right there as we put this on to the gear right there. So that's lined up. Now as we put this cover on, that red line has to line up with the notch on the clutch cover right there. So let's do that. Otherwise we won't be timed correctly. And we definitely did not do this procedure before. All right, now timing should be spot on. Let's see if she fires up now. That was the fix. Fired up right away. That is awesome. Sounds pretty good too. All right, we've got the gas tank back on, oil in it. Let's see if she fires up. Well, she fired up, ran for a little bit. I can't believe it. Didn't run too long, but we were able to hear it run, and it sounds pretty decent. Right now it won't start back up, so I'm guessing the timing's off again. And as you run this thing, that plastic gear in there is probably spreading apart because we just put a couple staples in it. I'm guessing it's on the verge of being broken again, and that affects timing because that's directly connected to that rod right there. So if that's off, everything's off. So next video, I think what we're gonna do is order up that new plastic gear for it, install that, and then do the ignition timing, get that perfect, and then try to start this thing up. We don't know if that plastic gear in there is messing things up. So we'll order up the plastic gear. We need a clutch cover gasket so oil doesn't leak out of here. We need a couple air filters, and then we can make this thing pretty reliable. The carbs were all gone through with new jet kits in there. So those are all good. Gas tank is clean. We've got new fuel line on it. So it's close, it's really close. I think once we get that timing down, she'll be a good runner. But unfortunately, we have to order up that gear to go any further. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video on this one, on the 1974 Suzuki GT380. It's coming along. Stay tuned for next video when we take this thing for the first ride. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.